All right, so you have made it here. You've made it to the People of Power show. And today's topic, this is a good one. We're talking about the multi-trillion dollar sickness. You want to stick around for this whole entire conversation that I am having right here, right now. My name is Niemah Nefertiti. I am a board certified nutritional scientist, a functional medicine practitioner. I am also an herbalist, an advocate, a humanitarian for the people, and I am a woman of power. Now, today, who I have sitting here with me, that is also going to be my co host for today on this amazing topic, is Anil Ramcharitar. Did I say your name right? Did I pronounce
Perfect.
your name right?
Perfect. My
Okay,
mother, my mother would love you. She heard you.
perfect. I want to introduce him in. He could tell you a little bit about himself as well. He can introduce himself, give you a little bit more about him and why I chose him on this particular topic.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Naima, for having me on your podcast. Just a little bit of background about me. I'm from the Caribbean, but I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. I've been living there for many years, and my background is I'm a business entrepreneur. I love business. I love serving people. I love having fun. I love traveling the world. I'm a digital nomad as well, so I'm currently in the Caribbean visiting family. So I love living all over and making the world my oyster. And I don't like being stuck to one geographical location because I love culture. I love meeting people. I love trying different foods. I love spending time learning because I'm a student of life. So when Naima shared with me she would love to have me on a podcast, I go, I'd love to. I'd love to meet some of your posse, your people, and your followers, and share some stuff with them, and hopefully in time, maybe in the future to come, I may get to connect with some of them and meet some of them so they can share with me, and that's what makes the world go round. So thank you, Naima, for the invite.
You're very welcome. And so a little bit about him to like bring a little bit more awareness to why he's chosen professionally. He is a business mentor. He has a company called Goya, which actually mentors people on health and wellness products as well. He's part of the Oldie Life community. And he has mentored people, from his bio. He has mentored 12 people into millionaire status. He also has, assisted many others. He's led teams of 10,000 people, plus. And the man is phenomenal at what he does. Okay. So we want to make sure that he can be humble, but I'm going to give the accolades because to my community, the people who come here to listen to me, to support me, I know you all want to know why he's chosen as one of the people of power. Okay. Because with people of power, just like I said in the description, it's people you may or may not know, but need to know. Now, y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Let's get into this topic because this is a good one. Why are we even talking about, and why is it important for us to understand the level of toxicity crisis that we're going through? And why is the multi-trillion dollar sickness? Why is it in the trillions? It's in the trillions because we really get down to calculate all of the toxins and all of the ways that our body's ingesting toxins and all of the things that's out here that's so super toxic that's causing toxicity crisis. A lot of times we could be thinking that we're just sick. And I can attest to that. I just got myself, okay, reverse 6 autoimmune disorders. Not one, not two, not three, 6 autoimmune disorders my body was going through. But what my body really was going through was a toxicity crisis. It was a toxicity overload that metastasized itself into these various different diseases and disorders. And this is what most of us are experiencing around the world. Now, we're talking about toxins in the air, okay, from chemtrails. We're talking about toxins in the water. We're talking about toxins in the food. We're talking about toxins in your skincare products, hair care products, makeup. We're talking about toxins every single turn. Toxins in your environment, the things that you clean your homes with. are very toxic. You're breathing that in. That's getting in your skin and on your skin. We're talking about when toxins in the soil. There's toxins everywhere. And if you're not understanding how and where these toxins are, and then all of a sudden you fall sick and you get so very sick, you're thinking, oh, I'm just getting sick. And you don't even understand the level of toxins that has been settling into your body. Okay. So we have to get very educated and very aware about the toxicity crisis that's going on with the planet. So then we can be very aware about the toxicity crisis that's going on in individuals, how to protect yourself, how to raise your frequency. I know that that's cliche. A lot of people now are talking about frequency healing and doing all this stuff. And so to some people, it can even come off like, what is this crap? Like, who's talking about, why is all these people talking about frequency healing? Does it really work? But let's, if we're going to talk about frequency healing, okay, because I'm going to have Anil talk about frequency healing a bit, because somewhat what he does in his products actually is centered around frequency. Frequency is everything. Go do your homework. Everything carries a frequency. Music, that's a frequency. You're going to have to play notes to get that sound. If that note is off, the frequency is going to be off. The sound is going to be off, and you're not going to get that beautiful music that you were intending to play because the frequency was off. Okay? When you speak, that's a frequency. When you think and you wonder how you can get around a person and you're thinking something and they speak it, where they caught the frequency. Everything is a frequency. Your body carries a frequency. We are electromagnetic beings, okay? That's a frequency. When your heart is failing, what happens? What they go get? The defibrillator to pump the heart back to get you back going. That's a frequency. Everything is energy. Everything is a frequency. And if your frequency has been constantly attacked, and now the frequency is off key, it's off kilter, it's not singing the tune, the harmonious tune that it needs to be singing, then what you think is going on with your organs? What you think is going on with your blood? Now, I read blood. I do blood interpretations. I read blood all the time. What I'm studying in the blood is an off center, off frequency of that person, because your blood is like the flowing rivers of water, okay? If they can't flow properly because they're being blocked by toxin patterns and frequencies being off, then of course your body is going to be depleted, fatigued, because you're going through a toxicity crisis. And in that toxicity crisis, guess what we do? Just guess what we do? We go add more toxins. We'll go get that medicine. We'll go get that. And I'm not trying to say that medicine doesn't have its place. I've taken medicine. Some of my clients that are on medications, everything has its place. But that's the first thing we do. Instead of knowing how to switch our frequency, cleanse our bodies, and get ourselves out of toxicity crisis. The first thing we do, instead of checking on what's going on with us or even listening to ourselves before we get to that point, we go and add more toxins. We add more toxins to the body. Instead of listening, instead of taking that time to de-stress, because that's number one. That's number one. It's almost like a collision of things that's happening to the body all at once. You have stress that's going on, so cortisol spikes are spiking up. You have an influx of toxins coming in from every direction. Every direction. From the toxins that's on your clothes, from all the dyes, to the toxins that's in the air, the toxins on your food, the toxic thoughts, the toxic music, toxic frequency. Your body is fighting so hard for you all day long. It takes 30, you need 30 trillion, or is it 30 billion new cells that has to be created for you every single day. Every day. Now imagine if those cells are not being given what they need, the frequency that they need, the healing that they need, the environment that they need, then what you think happens to the body? What you think gonna happen to the body? So let's Anil, let's talk about frequency, since this is what you do. Your products that you have that deals with frequency and helping people to get their frequency. What has been your experience in what you witness with people that are dealing with a frequency crisis in their bodies?
Well, I mean, I agree with you, Naima. It's all around the education and the awareness is us starting to learn what is required. And you're correct. When you see it on TV and shows when someone's having a heart problem, they take out the paddles, right? And they zap them. With what? With electricity. And we are electric beings. You ever walk across the carpet and touch the light switch? What happens? You get zapped, right? Because
Yeah.
we build up a charge. And
Mhm.
so one thing as human beings that I had to learn or go back to, which was the basics, was our home, the planet and the universe is all electricity. It's all electric. And so you probably heard of the term grounding for those of you listening. You walk on the beach in the sand, or you walk in your garden barefoot. And here's been the challenge with Western society is we live in condo buildings and high rises. We walk on tiles. We walk in shoes, we walk in sandals. When was the last time you saw someone barefoot? And even if you saw someone barefoot walking down the street, they're walking on concrete. So it's all about regrounding ourselves. And right now I'm in the Caribbean, and my family has a big property. So every morning I get up and I go for a walk barefooted, and I touch the trees. I put my hand on the mango tree. I put my hand up papaya tree. I put my hand on the moringa tree, and I just close my eyes and I do deep breathing because I want to get grounded.
Yeah.
Because these things emit energy, right? And so the company I'm with, Naima, Oli Life, they've created these portable terahertz and PEMF devices. So terahertz and PEMF are two frequencies that are healthy for the body. There's EMF that comes off cell phones and Wi-Fi, and then there's microwave technology. Infrared is also healthy. So terahertz and infrared and PEMF is right in the middle, right? It's healthy for the body. In fact, since the early 1900s, leading up to the 70s, companies like NASA, organizations like NASA, have used PEMF with their astronauts because when they're in a no gravity field and they're not close to the Earth, they can get sick. They can lose
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
their their way. So astronauts go through PEMF, which is pulse electronic magnetic field or frequency, and they even have it on the space vehicles because we want our astronauts to be good in outer space. So grounding and frequency is really cool. And the way frequency and grounding works is, so just picture your body, and our cells carry oxygen to our brain and our various organs. But when the blood cells are clotting and they're not flowing and free flowing, you get tired, you get exhausted, you have pain, inflammation, swelling. So what
Yes.
PEMF and terahertz does, it frees us up. Here's another thing it does. It shakes up our cells and gets rid of heavy metals, which is another toxic conversation. It also gets rid of parasites and toxins through what's called binders. And we can talk more about that at another time. So what PEMF and terahertz does, it sort of recharges the body, just like you would recharge your car when your iPhone's about to die or your Samsung, you plug it in. So if everything else around us needs recharging, what about us? Right? And here's the challenge, and you touched on it really well, Naima. We get so inundated with life and work and the kids and the dog and the husband and the wife that we forget to take care of ourselves. So Oli Life produced these devices that 20, 30 minutes a day, you can grab a glass of water or hot tea, sit with the device, you put your feet on it, you close your eyes, you do your deep breathing, or you may watch something on the television that's calming, and you for 30 minutes twice a day, you recharge. You recharge. And Naima, I've given this to my friends who are in wheelchairs. using crutches, coming off
Wow.
some serious ailments. My
Yeah.
aunt, who is in a retirement home right now, is diabetic and dealing with pain. She can't even sleep. 20 minutes on this device, she messaged me, Anil, I have more energy. My sleep was deep and peaceful last night. And I'm like,
Mm.
just 20 minutes. And
Yes,
she
deep
was
sleep.
looking at it sideways, like, is this one of those hocus pocus thing? I go, no, auntie, trust me, this is real solid technology. And it's not hocus pocus. Trust me, you're gonna like it. And my aunt in her 80s, old school, and she loved it. And she says, give me one of those things. And she goes, I don't care what the price is. I I I have less pain. I have more energy. I slept like a baby last night. I don't care what the cost is. And so what I've been doing, Naima, is globally, I've been educating people, one, on how to access the devices and benefit themselves. And of course, everybody's different. So everybody reacts differently. Some people may see a reaction right away. Some may take days and a few weeks. Again, it all depends on, as you say, their toxicity. But of course, they're doing their meditation, their yoga, they're doing they're drinking their alkaline water. They're eating,
Absolutely. Because
they're
there's a
eating healthy.
culmination of things that need to happen,
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
along with doing their, because you're healing on all levels,
Correct. Yes.
doing your frequency work, but also doing your nutrition. You know,
Right.
you cannot be dumping junk in here and then thinking you're going to go do frequency, because your frequency going to stay lower every time you go get on the machine and you charge yourself up. Then you're going to dump more garbage and you're dumping it into the garbage can. So you're not allowing yourself to have what your body needs cellularly to be able to boost up the charge. So they go hand in hand. That's what myself is here for as a nutritional scientist, and doing the work I do is to help you get all those things, so then it could pair well with all of the other work that you're doing, like doing the frequency, what my brother is saying, speaking on right here, right now.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, which is what I love what you do, is people forget this very important fact. When you're toxic, and your absorption level in your body is low because of low energy and low electricity, you can put the best food in your body. You can go to Whole Foods and spend hundreds of dollars and buy all the grains and everything on all the quinoa and kimchi. Your body's not assimilating it. So whatever protocol Naima has you on or she's teaching, combined with PEMF and frequency, combined allows the body now to absorb those nutrients even more
Even
succinctly.
better.
Yes, it becomes more sensitive to absorption. And that's one of the challenges we get as we get older. If you ever notice people as they get older, they lose muscle mass and they get skinny and frail looking and gaunt,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
because their body's not absorbing nutrients
And
properly
this
anymore.
is correctly.
This is very
That's
important.
correct. So
Yes.
in our line of work, what we studies we have been able to come up with is the gut brain barrier. And when your gut is not functioning properly, what's happening is the food actually leaves the gut and finds these little holes in your stomach and your colon and all these areas, and it ends up in the bloodstream. Now your warriors, which is your white blood cells, got to come in and they got to fight so hard to clean all of these things out of your blood. So instead of your cells and your body fighting to repair you, it's fighting to clean you up first, which takes a lot of work. So what Anil is saying is this device, if you're doing frequency, you're helping to recharge the cells while the gut is doing its job, which is to repair itself. So then the nutrients can be absorbed the correct way. So in order for that to happen, cells have to be repaired quicker. Like I was telling you earlier, there's 30 billion cells that has to be recreated every day. If the body is not absorbing nutrients properly, then the body is not charged up enough to give you what you need while your body is repairing itself. Most people have gut issues, have leaky gut. Because most people have been eating things that the body does not register as food.
Hmm.
And if it is a real food, a whole food, people do not know how to cleanse their food properly, and they're still taking in so many chemicals. Now, if you do know how to clean your food properly, you're still going outside. You're breathing in chemicals. You probably still have environmental toxins. You're probably still dealing with mold. You're probably on a medication that is tearing down other systems. You're probably drinking alcohol. You're not resting well. You have, sleep deprivation. There's so
Okay.
many things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Smoking. Oh my God. So your lungs are your pumps. They are the pumps of the body. If you're smoking, then you're tearing down those lungs. And when I say this is a multi-trillion-dollar sickness, it is just that. We're willing to put money in so many things. Louis, Gucci, Prada, a trip over here, doing this, buying this, going there, doing that. But what about your health? What about your health? That's the most important thing. If you do not have your health, you're not going to enjoy any of the mundane things that you're focusing on. You're focusing on that. I mean, people will complain and come up with 1 million reasons not to invest into their bodies. They'll rather go invest and buy a new car, get a new lease on a car, buy new furniture, get new clothes. I had somebody tell me the other day, oh, what kind of clothes are you wearing? Are you wearing expensive? It doesn't matter. My health is more important. I'll rather go wear something that's not expensive and pour thousands of dollars into my body, which I do. I sure do. I'm going to get the top-notch water, the top-notch minerals. I'm going to go and visit the top-notch healing centers. I'm going to do everything best for this temple because that's all that matters. It doesn't matter to me showing up in the most expensive suit or I've done that, been there, done that. I could care less about that. Okay. What I care about is this body, this temple, because see, I've been on that deathbed twice, been there. And when I was there and could not move and paralyzed from the mouth down, the last thing in this world I was thinking about was what expensive suit or shoes I was going to be wearing. I could care less. The only thing I cared about is being able to get out of that bed and being able to chew that food and being able to get back to doing the things that made me happy, dancing and laughing and enjoying life. That's all I care about. And for my family out here that's dealing with autoimmune disorders, inflammation, cancers, chronic ailments, get your priorities together. What really matters is your health. That's what really matters. Not that game, not that next drink, not that expensive thing, not that piece of jewelry, not that. Mm-mm. And I'm going to be honest with you, probably not even that relationship. Probably not that either. Because you can't be in a healthy dynamic with a person if you're not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be healthy and you got to love you. So this frequency that we're talking about, this multi-trillion-dollar sickness that we're talking about, the trillions of dollars that's going into everything that doesn't matter. That's a sickness too, because see, that's a mental sickness. If we was to tally up all of the funding that goes so many places, that does not matter. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar mental illness. Do you want to be a part of the multi-trillion-dollar mental illness? Or do you want to be a part of the multi-trillion-dollar enhancement glow up? Where
Mm-hmm.
everything that you're investing in is glowing you up and glowing up the planet. That we don't mind healing. Healing is like now we don't even speak on it like it's healing. It's just a way of life. It's normal and natural to be my age and glowing and looking like I'm in my 30s. That's natural. We're aging quicker because of the lack of love of self. And that low frequency that we're so okay with. We're so okay with doing the quick thing. I mean, I've had some of my clients, and I would never, put you out there like that invest time in other things instead of packing that food. You got to pack that food before you leave the house. Because if not, then it's going to be easily be tempted by the fast food French fried in seed oils or old vegetable oil, old chicken grease. It's going to be quick for you to get that processed food, that quick little processed food that is tearing down your systems and adding to the toxicity crisis that you're already experiencing. So even though Anil here has a great products for you to sit on and charge and recharge your batteries and get those cells all charged up and bring down that inflammation, varicose veins. I've seen so many women dealing with those. Okay. The device also helps with, heart issues, chronic fatigue. The list goes on and on and on. The toxicity goes on and on and on. And even though he has that, and those devices are great with that, and pair it with my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of what I do as a nutritional scientist and a functional medicine practitioner, for you to come in and get your blood interpreted so we can see what's going on with your blood, and then put together you a viable plan of action of total healing and health and wellness. But see, we can lead the horse to water, but we can't make you drink it. You have to come with the mentality. You have to comb through your budget, and you have to see where you're leaking into that $1 trillion toxicity crisis. The $1 trillion is just leaking out everywhere except for where it needs to be, which is loving yourself first, and then figuring out all of the other layers that needs to be assessed. Now, let's go over a quick list. What's going on here, okay? What's contributing to the epidemic? Chronic inflammation, toxicity, nutrient depletion, chronic stress, poor sleep, processed foods, environmental exposures. Now, we've talked about some of the ultra processed foods. We touched on. We have more episodes coming, so stay tuned and make sure that you right now subscribe to this channel and hit your notification bell. That's easy. That's simple and easy. Ask my family. Okay, I know that we most of us have ADHD. You got something for that too. You need the device, and you need to change your diet so then you can focus and not feel like, oh, I'm focusing on it. I need to scroll to something else because I'm not getting what I need. Yes, you are. You're getting what you need. So subscribe, hit the notification bell so then you can be up for the next, podcast and information that we'll have for you. Okay. Now let's talk about ultra processed foods. Let's talk about that really quick. We're just going to touch on it very quickly because I want to name a few. A lot of people who eat healthy, who think they eat healthy, eat vegan food. You can eat vegan food and be eating so many carbs and ultra processed foods, like the processed meats, okay? A lot of those processed burgers, a lot of the processed dairies, a lot of the processed foods that you're eating, chips in a bag, and all of these foods that have been processed in a manufacturing company, they're not feeding your cells. They're not giving them life, okay? They're giving them death. And we want life. We want to eat living foods, things that are alive, things that can actually, and everything can be processed. You put something in a blender, you processed. Because what you did was switch it out of its original form. Switching things out of its original form is not the worst. It's how it's done, okay? How things are processed. Are they fried, dyed, and laid to the side? It's all of the nutrients being pulled out of it. Is it supporting any of your systems? What type of oils are used in that process? All of those things matter. So when you, oh, let's talk about the list of ingredients. The list of ingredients. If you can't pronounce it and you read it and it's 25, 35, 55, 65 ingredients, ma'am, no, sir. You don't even know what you're eating. You don't have a clue. And you need to have a clue of what's going in your body. And I know it's easier said than done because most of us are addicts. Most of us are addicted to the processed food and all of the chemicals and ingredients that are put in these foods. And so we go to reach for that snack when we're watching that movie. We go and reach for that snack when we're getting stressed. You know, we go and reach for that snack even when we're not hungry, just because a lot of us are addicted to chewing. We're addicted to chewing food, chewing and tasting, you know? And so we want to talk about that. Now let's touch on alcohol real quick because we touched on the processed foods, but the alcohol. Now, I want Anil to tell us what he feels like alcohol can do to our frequency.
Well, I mean, alcohol burns up the sugar in your blood. I mean, and again, I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I'm talking from past experience because I've drank alcohol, and you got the hangover, you're not feeling great the next day, you're down, you have to hydrate, you got a splitting headache. So it's a poison. It's a poison. So when I learned alcohol was a poison and I don't need it in my body, and I can be social and hang out with my friends and I don't have to consume alcohol, I started making those shifts. So for me, Naima, alcohol is a poison. And from time to time, I'll have a beer. Maybe once a month now, I'll have a scotch if I'm chilling with my family or whatever. But other than that, I avoid it as much as possible because I know now that I've been educating myself on frequency and vibration and eliminating toxicity from my body. The other thing I've been doing is eliminating toxic habits, toxic patterns. Because
Yeah.
before you make yourself toxic, it starts in thought. So what are you thinking about every day? Like what is going through your mind? Because thoughts can be toxic and everything begins in thoughts and what we think about all the time, our viewpoints. So what is our viewpoints on alcohol? Like, do we drink every day? Do we have a glass of wine with every meal? Well, that adds up to bottles and bottles and bottles, and you're poisoning your system. So that's my comment on that, Naima, is that I used to not challenge that toxic thought process, and I had to transform it. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. And thank you for your transparency and honesty because it's not about being perfect.
yeah.
And no, none of us are going to be perfect, but we can give it our best shot. We can give it our best shot at loving ourselves. Then there is a such thing as detoxing. One of the things I specialize in is detoxing and helping people to detox and pull all of the toxins out of the body. Because just think about it like this. When you have a car, you go get your engine flushed, you get it clean, you check out your transmission, your radiator. Sometimes you have to flush that. You'll flush things and clean your car. What about your body? What about your body engine? What about cleaning that out? Getting all of these various different parasites. Now, I am studied thousands of parasites, okay, in this journey that I've been on. And the ones of you that's on my social media that go to my Instagram, I actually talk about quite a few of the names of the parasites, like Plasmodium. I talk about the Toxoplasma. I talk about different types of blood fluids. I actually talk about these. If you do not know and have not researched these parasites, how are you think you're going to be shooting in the dark, killing them? You're not. Everybody go to Google University and know three, cleansing herbs and swear is the be all tell all to all of the cleansing of parasites, and that's absolutely a myth. You cannot use these same three and think that these parasites are not intelligent. They are very intelligent, okay, and they have learned how to move and maneuver past those three.
And
And
Naima, I
Yes.
wanted to add to that too. Recently, studies have been shown that pancreatic cancer and other cancers are linked to parasites because of their eggs and their incubation process. And sometimes we may think it's, well, our food we're eating. Well, not necessarily. If you have those parasites in your body and they're triggering those chemical reactions, and just the thought of it makes my skin crawl. Like I have these things in me laying eggs and incubating and oh
Right.
man, yeah. But
Right.
studies were done and they're linked to cancers.
Oh
So
yeah,
isn't that
they're linked to
it's interesting?
all
Yeah.
diseases and disorders. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't want to hear, or the society do not want to acknowledge. But they're linked to all. But in order for you to get the parasites, your body has to be on a certain frequency, and that frequency is lower. And when that frequency is lower, and a lot of these parasites are on the foods and in the foods that you are eating, but it's also in your environment. I did one quick little insert on my Instagram about stop touching people's hands. Stop touching people's hands. Because people have the eggs and the parasites on their hands. And you go, and I know it's an American culture to go shake a person's hand. But if you're not cleaning your hand back right away, whatever toxins and whatever eggs, whatever parasites is on their hands, now you go to touch your eye or touch your lip. And I know it can be offensive to some people. And I absolutely have offended some people, but I throw up a prayer hand. I'll touch my heart. I'll let them know that I'm acknowledging that, the sentiment of wanting to get to know me. But my sentiment is saying that I love me first. And my first line of defense is to myself and not touching your hand. So, just knowing how we're picking up these toxins and these parasites. Now, these parasites are very intelligent. I want to get down to those 3 herbs that everybody think is the be all tell all to killing all the parasites when it absolutely is not. And that is black walnut husk. A lot of people want to use that. It's a great herb, by the way. I'm not saying that it does not work, because it absolutely does. Okay. But the thing is, the combination of herbs that we're using actually vary from parasite to parasite. They vary. They're not the same. They have to vary because it's a different creature. It's a different being. And when you look at these beings under parasite, what's the word I'm trying to say? Under a microscope.
Microscope.
When you're looking at it under a microscope, they look like monsters. Okay? They look like monsters, literally with teeth and fangs and all these things. And if you have not studied those, you cannot go to Google University and just pull these few little herbs that everybody are talking about that's so common and think that you're going to kill those parasites. You're not. Also, people are doing cleanses, parasite detoxes at the wrong time. It can actually amplify a toxicity crisis if your body systems are not strong enough to bring all that stuff up to the surface. Because that's what happens. All of that stuff comes straight up to the surface. Okay? So I just want to speak about those 3, which is wormwood, black walnut husk, and dandelion. So those are usually the ones that everybody uses. I'm not saying that they're not great. They're great. They're magnificent for different things and for different reasons. Also, burdock root, good for cleansing the blood, all these things. However, the right combination, which you can find in my eradication detox tea. I know it's a little blurry, but I'll post the link for the website. You can go there. So my eradication detox tea. I also have eradication detox capsules, and I am coming out with another host of amazing herbs that support the body systems at the right time with the proper nutrition and the right frequency devices. It is a well thought out culmination of things that need to happen to keep that body in alignment, keep it strong and beautiful. And for you young people that come here, because it's starting to hit the young people harder and harder, because you all are eating all this ultra processed foods like the noodles, And them hot fries and them Takis and Lays and all these chips and dips and all these things that you all are eating on a constant basis as your food source. You all are coming here. You all are gonna have to make it to 50. You're gonna have to make it to 30. You gotta make it to 40. You gotta make it. Listen to the wisdom. This is the reason why we have elders in our community. Listen to the wisdom. Come and get the wisdom and start taking care of yourself early. Drinking enough water, getting to sleep, getting the rest. And if you are going to eat the ultra processed foods, do not let that be the source of your diet. That should be something that you dabble in every now and then. Not something that you're eating every day or even every week. And then you get sick and then you say, oh no, I just had a cold. No, your body was going through a toxicity crisis and trying its best to rid itself of mucus, and the parasites are in the mucus. Okay? So this has been great. We're going to just give a last little cap off. All right. So we talk about how everything has to spill down into the next, how poor nutrition adds to gut dysfunction and immune dysfunction, inflammation, hormonal imbalance, mitochondrial dysfunction, symptoms and disease progression. The ones that you know me know that I speak a lot about powering up the mitochondria. I've done many talks on the power of the mitochondria. And if you all do or do not know, there are parasites that hide and replicate themselves looking like your mitochondria. Okay? Yeah, they're smart. They're looking like the organelles in your body. That is what? The power source to your cell. The parasite get in there and now the cell keeps it alive thinking that that parasite is the mitochondria. How smart is that? It's very intelligent. We're dealing with intelligent beings here. So we have to get on top of our intelligence too. We have to be intelligent enough to know that we got to cleanse, we got to rest, we have to keep that stress level low, and we got to deal with frequency. You heighten up your frequency, those parasites can't live in a certain environment. If the environment is alkaline, the frequency is high, they can't live. They got to come out of there and find them a new host or just die. So what are you doing to heighten your frequency? How are you loving you? How are you adding to the upliftment of your planet? That's your temple, your body. If you do know, if you don't know, if you need assistance, come back to the people power. Always be interviewing people that are adding great information, and not just physical, mental, spiritual, but also financial, because I know that's a big part of it. We absolutely have people who have answers to financial disparity, that you can become a part of this community. Make sure that right now you hit like and you subscribe and you stay notified, because it's nothing. It's no problem. You just hit like and subscribe. So then we can make sure that this information is getting out to more people, the people that are needed. If you know anybody that's dealing with chronic diseases, okay, autoimmune disorders, make sure that you send them this information. And you will know that in the description box below will be information about how to get to the products and the services that you need, website, all of that will be there. So you all can reach out to the people that you need to reach out to, which is us here right now, and get the information and the products that you need to be at your highest level of frequency. And before we close out, I'm going to have Anil make any final statements.
Sure. Thank you, Niemah. Well, that was incredible. And I just want to share this with you, the listener. Look at ignorance is no longer bliss, not in the day and time we're living in, And I didn't know about PEMF and terahertz and frequency and vibration at one point. And a friend shared this with me when I was living in Vancouver. And I went and experienced it and I felt totally alive. And I'm an upbeat person. I have good energy. I don't get depressed. I'm self-motivated, self-inspired. So I'm pretty healthy and I'm very careful like of what I put in my body around toxins and stuff. But here's what I've learned. With education comes awareness. And awareness gives you access. So let me repeat that. With education comes awareness, and awareness gives you access. So start learning. And a couple things I want to mention, Naima, before I go. Don't take my word for it. Do your own due diligence. Make it your own. Don't just listen to this. Own it. Make it your own because when you make it your own, then you start taking action on it. So here's what I recommend. Two things to do. Go to ChatGPT and type in terahertz. So TERAHERTZ and PEMF, and you will see what NASA and scientists and well-renowned doctors are saying about this technology. Also, if you want to, for those of you that follow what the US government says and the FDA, go to pubmed.gov, that's pubmed.gov, and type in PEMF. And you'll see over 120 pages of articles from scientists and doctors encouraging us, the public, to learn about PEMF and terahertz and add it to our diet,
Yeah.
add it to our daily activity. Because here's what's happening, and I'll say this in conclusion. The medical system is getting inundated and overwhelmed. People are dying in waiting rooms. They can't take care of us anymore. We need to start taking care of ourselves. Like remember when the natives lived off the land
Yes.
and there was no Burger King and McDonald's and Tim Hortons, and they went and picked something and ground it and whatever. Did they get sick? No. Were they overweight? No. I mean, they lived off the land and they were hunters and stuff. So let's learn from history that we can heal ourselves and following amazing people like Naima because of her journey. Now she's being a force to reckon with and really sharing and things and paying it forward. Pay attention, listen, and stop living in ignorance. That's the last thing I'd like to say, Naima. And I'm looking forward to sharing myself with all of you in the days ahead. So thank you for listening to me today.
Yes. And thank you for being here. We appreciate you, your wisdom, your knowledge, your education, and taking the time to be on the People of Power show. So
My
we're looking
pleasure. Thank
forward
you.
to hearing from you all. Please comment, comment. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. Comment, comment. We want to hear from you. And we are proud of you for the work you've done so far. And we're looking forward to hearing from you again soon.